So, students, so after the Dalton's atomic theory, got it? So we will see now that what is the atom made up of? We will see, got it? Because after the discovery of atom by what you can say Democritus, and after the Dalton's atomic theory, many questions came into the mind of the scientist. That what is an atom made up of? Got it? What is present in an atom which makes atom electrically neutral in nature? What is that? What is being present? Why do different what you can say atoms combine together and it forms a molecule? Alright. Next is how the atom of one element differs from the atoms of other elements. How it differs. Alright. What is the properties, the physical and the chemical properties which makes the difference between the two atoms, we can say that. Next, the electromagnetic rays which are given out from the atoms, the electromagnetic rays which are given out or which are absorbed also. Means at the same time in certain atoms it is absorbed, in certain atoms which is being given out. So many questions that came in the mind of the scientist regarding these atoms. But the most important question was that what an atom made up of. Alright, why atom is electrically neutral? What is being present in an atom which makes electrically neutral in nature? Alright, this question was very common in the mind of the scientist. Alright, so now what you find is that at that particular time many scientists were there. So out of that, one scientist was there whose name was William Gilbert. William Gilbert. You might have heard in physics about it. So William Gilbert, what he did is that he took a glass rod, let us say this is a glass rod, and he rubbed it over silk. He rubbed it over silk. Alright. And what he did is that he brought it near another glass rod which is also rubbed it over silk. He brought it. He found that the two rods repels one another. It repels. Achha. When the same glass rod rubbed over silk is brought near an ebonite rod which is rubbed with fur. We are taking an ebonite rod and you are rubbing it over fur. Alright, and you bring it near to each other. Means glass rod rubbed over silk and ebonite rod rubbed over fur. Means two different rods, when you bring it closer to each other, then you see it gets attracted. Alright, it gets attracted. But when you bring two similar rods, like two glass rods, when you bring it closer to each other, when it is rubbed over silk, alright, you find it is repelled. Alright, you find it is being repelled. So William Gilbert did the experiment. This is known as what? Experiment on electrostatics. Electrostatic means static electricity, which does not flow, we can say that. You can also see it in your home. You can do that particular one. You sit on a plastic chair, alright, and you take a towel, alright, you ask somebody to beat the chair, not to beat you, to beat the chair with the help of a towel. What you will find is that after some time, when you will touch the chair, you will find that is a slight, a charge you will be getting it. Alright, a slight charge you will feel. When you touch the chair, you will get a very mild shock, an electric shock, you will be feeling it. Alright, you will be getting it. Why? Because when you are rubbing, listen carefully now, when you are rubbing two bodies against each other, due to friction, static electricity is being produced. When you are rubbing a glass rod over silk, when you are rubbing an ebonite rod over fur, when you are beating a towel, when you are taking a towel and beating it over a chair, so due to friction, what I find is that static electricity is being produced. Electricity does not flow. Alright. So, and hence due to that particular reason, what I find is that the charges are being produced, we can say. Clear? So when a glass rod is rubbed over silk, you will be reading in physics about it, that it develops positive charge, and when an ebonite rod is rubbed over silk, it develops a negative charge. So he concluded, William Gilbert, upon this experiment, he concluded that like charges repels and unlike charges attracts. Alright? At the same time, Michael Faraday was there. Alright, another scientist whose name was Michael Faraday, we can say that. Michael Faraday. Another scientist was there. His name was. So Michael Faraday, what it is that he took electrolyte, a solution, and he passed electricity through it. Alright, when he passed electricity, then he saw that at the two electrodes, the charges were being developed. Opposite charges. One positive electrode, another negative electrode, he got it. Alright, when he passed electricity through two different electrodes, he found that the solution, it got dissociated into its ions and the charges was accumulated on the two opposite electrodes, positive and the negative electrode. We can say charges was accumulated and opposite charges got accumulated, which you call it today as cathode and anode. Alright, in cathode cations get attracted and in anode anions get attracted. Alright, cathode is negatively charged electrodes, so cations are positively charged ions. Anode is positively charged electrodes, anions are negatively charged ions. So in this way, the two persons, William Gilbert and Michael Faraday, they showed us that an atom, alright, the smallest particle of any substance is what? An atom. Alright, an atom consists of this particular charges. Otherwise, from where we got these charges? Isn't it? Just think of from where we got these particular charges. So these two experiments, which was done by William Gilbert and Michael Faraday, it showed us that atom consists of, what you can say, this particular charges, the opposite charges, that is the nothing but the positive and the negative charges it consists of. So one thing after this particular, what you can say, experiment of Gilbert and Faraday, one thing was sure, that atom consists of positively and negatively charged particles, and these particles was named as subatomic particles. Alright, the naming was not done electrons, protons, neutrons, no, nothing. But these were named as subatomic particles. So it was said that atom consists of subatomic particles. Now let me tell you one more what you can say fact, let me add it to it, that today you are knowing three subatomic particles are there, isn't it? Electrons, protons and neutrons. Of course these are the three fundamental subatomic particles or primary subatomic